locked in to the hottest station on the planet.
Resistance is futile. The revolution has begun.
You're listening to Rebelpreneur Radio, helping you break the rules and build the business you need for the life you want. And now, broadcasting his pirate signal
from somewhere beyond the status quo,
here's your host, best-selling author, marketing and media strategist, Ralph Brogden.
Hello and welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio, the show that helps you build the business you need for the life you want. I'm Ralph Brogden. You know, I talk with so many people and they seem like they're stressed out, even in trying to think about the things that they have to do in their business or the things that they want to do in their life. And they're really missing, I think, the inner peace formula. Today's guest is going to give us her formula for inner peace. Her name is Mahima. She is Europe's #1 self-mastery mentor. She's an international best-selling author and award-winning speaker and trainer. Mahima has done over 10,000 hours of meditation practice and has helped transform the lives of thousands of people with her unique creations, the Inner Peace Formula and the Inner Peace Meditation Practice. She has spoken at Google and given workshops at UBS Bank, the Global Fund and Mindvalley's Epic Afest, among other places. Mahima, welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio.
What a joy to be here. And thank you for that wonderful welcome. It's really a privilege to be able to be here today with everyone and yourself. Well, thank you so much.
It is so cool to connect with you. And you are joining us by Skype all the way from Switzerland. Is that correct?
Yes. I live in a little village with beautiful mountain and lake views. And I'm just looking out at the sun setting over the lake and enjoying this time with you.
Well, that is really cool. And that automatically, just thinking about where you're at in the world, gives me a sense of inner peace. Just to imagine that kind of a setting. Really, really cool. So you are a practitioner of meditation. You're a teacher and a speaker. Tell us how you got started doing this.
Where to start, right?
Yeah.
So I was, I believe, 22 when I found myself divorced. I'd had a good life, up to that point. I was not aware of how much disconnected I was from myself, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. And this divorce left me devastated. I was so young, but I'd had a life with my Swiss husband, where I could travel around the world and basically had a good life, but it hadn't given me fulfillment, or I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what my gifts were. I didn't know why I was here. There was no real purpose to my life. I was literally just surviving from day to day and dealing with the normal focus, which I would say most people have, which is focusing on lack instead of abundance. So this divorce left me in a state where I was open to the suggestion to go to India and work on myself. And it literally, I was not looking for anything. At that moment, I was really just, looking to get a job and kind of get on with my life. And the idea of working on myself spiritually, emotionally, mentally was the furthest thing from my mind. So when I found myself saying yes and going to India, I was really not looking, I wasn't expecting what I got, which was a total turn in direction in my life. So I found myself in an ashram, sitting there meditating for the first time. And in that first meditation, able to reach into a deep state of peace and self-awareness that I hadn't consciously experienced as a young adult. And that experience made me go, wow, what is this world? I need more of it. I want to learn everything I can about it. And so I literally just started to, look for people who could teach me more about consciousness, about inner peace, about living in the moment, and concepts that weren't really a part of my vocabulary up to that point. I immediately felt like I'd found something of a vocation, of love, because it came very easily to me. I know a lot of people have probably read the book Eat, Pray, Love, right? Where she talks about struggling with meditation, and for me it was the opposite. It came easily. I could sit for hours. I literally, the day after my first meditation, sat for 2 hours and meditated alone. It felt like I was a dolphin that was stranded on the beach that someone had pushed back into the water. And I found the water and just wanted to play and dive in it for hours.
Wow. What a great story. So you went from, without even realizing it, you went from not knowing your purpose, not being fulfilled, to becoming Europe's #1 self-mastery mentor. That's quite a challenge, or quite a journey, and quite a challenge that you overcame to get to that point. Tell us a little bit more about what you actually do for people and how you take the things that you learned and translate them into helping others.
Okay, so typically the people we work with are just really beautiful, heart-centered people that have lost their way in life, in terms of feeling disempowered, feeling that they don't really know why they're here or what they're doing, what's the point of it. They maybe at one point felt a deeper connection to their life and the decisions that they were taking, but at some point they totally lost, let's say, touch of the why. Why am I doing this? And the what do I really want? So what we find is we'll ask our clients, like, what do you want? And most people are drawing a blank. They have no idea what they want. Yeah. And as we know,
if you don't know what you want, then you certainly can't take action steps towards fulfillment, can you?
Exactly. So I say what we do is we help people answer the big questions. Yeah. What is my genius? What's my talent? What am I good at that I want to become even better at? What do I want to dedicate my life to? Who am I spiritually? Right? Understanding the depth of self. Most people's perception of self is related to their name, their age, their vocation, their possessions. But when you ask, but what about the self that you can't see, the self that, is the soul that's living in this physical body? Yeah, the self that's the soul that could leave this body and leave everything here, that you experience so much pain and suffering over behind, right? So it's like, so we help people to really understand the meaning of self in a let's say, religious, secular way, right? So it's more like a spirituality that's not based on, whether you're Muslim or Christian or Jewish or whatever, bringing people together to talk about consciousness, about love, about peace, about the fundamentals of being human, and that also includes our spiritual being.
Very cool.
So that's what we do.
so you get into some really deep stuff, and I feel like, man, we are all really into the really depth of this conversation, because I mean that's really what it's all about. Why are you here? Who are you, and why are you here? Those are like the main questions of mankind for thousands of years.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
You help people to get to the bottom of those.
Yes.
That kind of leads me to the next question that I'm always curious about when I'm talking with people who work with people on a regular basis. And it seems like so many people are struggling to find out what their purpose is. And if you don't know where you're going, you don't know how to get there. And so resolving that one issue kind of answers a lot of the other questions that come up in life about which way to go and who should I be with and what should I be doing. But why do you think it's so hard? And why do you think people for thousands of years have struggled with these very basic questions of who am I and what's the meaning? Why am I here? And what's the purpose of life? Why do you suppose that is such a struggle for people?
I would say, Ralph, it's because our school system hasn't given value to educating people on the basics of being human. By that, I mean having control over what you think, what you feel, and your actions. Yeah, really developing a curriculum that allows people to work on developing their mind, but also their mindset. Yeah, that gives people tools of how to add, multiply, subtract, or do geography, but also how to feel, how to manage your feelings, how to be able to distance yourself from negative emotions and deal with anger and sexuality and this kind of fundamental things to being human, which we've approached so far from a very mind-based learning instead of a heart-centered learning, which truly empowers the human being. Yeah, and we see that this is an issue because kids are now killing kids.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think that you really said something that's critical that I want to circle back to. Our education systems around the world are mostly focused on skills and knowledge and data and information. And it's about developing the mind and enabling people to function in society. But you're saying that they do not address the deeper issues, which has to do not with mind, but with mindset, with feelings and emotions. And that's why we are having the problems that we're having with our kids.
Yes. So if we would provide, let's say, parents with, if your parent, if your mom and dad, let's say, were already schooled in consciousness, right? And we probably eliminate the wars and the abuse and all the things that are going on in the world through lack of awareness, right? Lack of understanding that we're the same, even though we share the same thing, which is we're humans. So whether you're, black, white, Asian, Greek, Portuguese, Italian, short, fat, tall, whatever it is, right? That the common ground is that we're humans. And so if we would teach each, humans how to love and care for each other, regardless of differences and all that and so forth, we would be able to communicate better in like all levels of life, in boardrooms, in governments, in everywhere where humans need to be communicating with each other. So if you look back at history, there is a lot of violence amongst humans, and we're getting better at moving through and being able to communicate, but we're still a long way from where we need to be because our school system doesn't implement humanity as a main foundation of teaching. Yeah. And I think that people are starting to realize that. So the people we work with are people that, like I said, they're heart-centered, conscious people who are feeling like something's not quite right with what I've been taught, with what I've been, how I've been trying to live my life. And so they recognize themselves in the message that, our company is sending, which is work on yourself to be the best version of human that you can be. When you can, when you can be loving, kind, and respectful to yourself, then you can put that courtesy to others as well. Feeling not good enough, feeling not clever enough, feeling not beautiful enough, feeling like it's not enough, feeling like you're just not good enough. A lot of people suffer very deeply from those complexes. Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. I hope that the people can relate to what I'm sharing.
Absolutely. Well, with what you were sharing, it reminded me of something that Gandhi said, which is to be the change that you seek in the world. And I think there's a mindset that we want to try to fix everybody else before we have really, truly begun to work on ourselves. And that's why we can't rely on the education system. We can't rely on the government. We can't rely on others to teach us and change the world in a big way if we have not first begun to take those first steps towards self-mastery and taking the responsibility for answering these questions and being the change that we seek in others. And then through that, you're saying that we're able to change the world and make a difference in the world, but it starts with ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so just, seeing people going from, and that's the process when they join our, programs, they go from, having felt a lot, because that's one thing I learned. You asked me, what did I learn from my time in India and those hours and hours of meditation? I learned that human suffering is a condition that we've been taught is how we should live our lives. Right. But what's and my parents, my grandparents, my great grandparents, I come from a whole line of suffering as one of the main messages of what life is about. Right. You suffer in love. You suffer, with trying to get the right education. You suffer with, challenges in jobs, and it's all about suffering and as I said, pain and lack. And so meeting teachers that actually told me, no, there's actually another way to experience this whole journey on planet Earth. And it can be one of joy, peace, fun, laughter, creating beauty. It was a revelation. For me. And I just was like a sponge who would just absorb. I just absorbed that message, right? And the power of the now, being able to take your focus away from the past and everything that's happened, and away from the future, the fear of what might happen, and just be totally and fully present in the here and now, allows you to access a calm and a peace that is you born with. You're actually born with this wisdom already inside of you. But as you started being educated and taught and influenced, we move away from that. So you see children in the very pure stage. They live in the present moment. They're able to laugh and cry and enjoy. They deeply enjoy life until, slowly but surely they start to learn from us that, life is not just about fun and laughter, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's really really appropriate, I think, for business owners, and I call them Rebelpreneurs, who are struggling with the now. If you focus on the past, you're going to be limited by fear, failure, and mistakes that were made in the past. But I don't so much dwell in the past. My issue is dwelling in the future. I'm a strategist. I'm a big picture thinker, and I tend to be way down the road. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs are planning and thinking and being way out in front and I guess there's some value to that. But what we need to do is cultivate this mindset of being in the present and being grounded and mindful.
Absolutely. Such a great point. And that's actually what literally what we do is we teach people I call it the basics. Yeah. And the basics is to be able to be just restful, peaceful, and totally content with what is in your life right now as it is. Yeah. While still having that, ambition, wish, vision, of transforming your external world, right, into making your dreams come true. So how do you stay here and be present in the here and now while still aspiring to transform yourself and the world? And that seems like a let's say something that doesn't quite fit together, but it's actually really, once you understand that the seeds you're planting of the future, you're planting them right now. So if you're planting seeds of joy, of clarity, of connection and love, then your future's set. You really don't need to worry about a thing, because it is those seeds.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
What a great analogy that is, because I'm thinking about the garden in my backyard. And, I can sit here and think how great it's going to be when I harvest these vegetables and these herbs and these things. I can dwell in the future and have a great vision and a purpose for why this garden exists, and kind of live 3 or 4 months down the road, enjoying in my mind the return. But right here in the present moment, I've got to water that garden.
Exactly. You got to pull those weeds, right?
Exactly.
You got to make sure you're planting avocados and not lemon trees if you don't like lemons.
Right. That's really neat. What a great analogy. And I think that more than anything else helps to resolve this kind of tension, or the seeming contradiction, the paradox of being in the future, having a vision and a purpose and goals and so forth, as the Western mind says, and then being present, being in the now, being mindful of this very moment. You can hold both of those in with the Mahima Mindset.
Yes.
Describe for us what that Mahima Mindset is all about.
Okay, so the Mahima Mindset is about realizing that you came into this world with nothing, and you're going to leave with nothing. Okay, like in terms of material stuff. Okay, you came in with the soul, spirit, energy that you are. Yeah, and you're going to need to continue that journey. Whatever you believe about the continuation of that journey, everything will be left behind. Right. So it's understanding that, and so therefore playing the game of life between birth and death with as much ease, grace, and joy, and focus and fun as possible. Right.
I love it.
Yeah. So people take themselves too seriously because they haven't understood who they are. Yeah. They haven't understood that they're the soul living in the body, and that this can all be taken away in a heartbeat. A heartbeat, right? So the Mahima Mindset is understanding that and being gracious and humble in each moment, and saying, thank you for another day to be able to breathe this air and, caress my child, my wife, and hug my child, and go out and make my dreams come true. It's having awareness of what is real and what is imaginary, and the future is imaginary, and the now.
Awareness and gratitude. That's the thing that I think we can wake up. When you see a movie and someone survives a car crash or a plane crash or something, you see them emerge from the wreckage, and they kind of blink their eyes and look around, and it's like they're suddenly aware that they have just survived something traumatic, and they're still alive. And that's kind of the way. It's not that my sleep is traumatic, but when I wake up in the morning, I try to be aware that I'm alive, I'm breathing, and here's another day, and this is a gift. And so I try to be like those people that survive those things in the movies, and it's like they really rediscover themselves. We can do that every day, can't we?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's learning that you can, one of the things that I learned from my teachers in India was my focus was on, let's say, I can't show it because it's a radio show, but let's say if you could imagine a big, like your arms are spread out wide, right? That was my focus on the negative stuff in my life. Okay. And then put your palms together and create a small ball. And that was the focus on the good stuff in my life. And I would say I just turned that around, like through all these techniques and strategies they told me, that I felt that the positivity was, my arms spread out wide. That's the focus I have in positivity. And yes, there's that little ball of negative stuff that happens, right? And that switch, that being able to understand that the things that really matter are relationships, right? First of all, with yourself. If your relationship with yourself is solid, you'll work out the rest with everyone else. If you wake up feeling comfortable in your own skin and can, and can be that voice in your head that says, well done, you're doing good. Yeah. That wasn't an easy situation. And yeah, maybe you lost it a bit and you didn't quite, act as you wanted to, but that's okay. You'll get another chance because you have plenty of opportunities to learn in life, right? So changing that voice in the head. So it's not that tormenting, you're not good enough, you're stupid, you're ugly, getting off that trip and being able to be the love of your life, actually. In a non-ego way, but just in a way, I respect you. I honor you. You're not perfect, but we're okay. And that relationship, developing that relationship of self-love is really what it's all about. That's the game changer. Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I'm liking the Mahima mindset. This is really awesome. What are you working on right now, Mahima, that's got you really excited?
Okay, we're working on our members hub where, people can come and get some meditations, some personal growth, inspirations. We have something called like Get Fired Up for Your Day, which is like a 15-minute routine thing that you can do every morning that just helps you start your day. Because I believe how you start your day is so important and just helps you start your day feeling grounded, feeling secure in yourself. And it's just 15 minutes giving yourself that self-love and self-respect. When we get up and go, we shower, we get dressed, we work on everything except the thing that's going to really make our lives easier, which is working on the relationship with ourselves. So our members hub is a way for people to very easily access what we currently have on offer, which is various different personal growth tools that don't require a lot of time, but are very effective. We have something called a 21-day meditation challenge on there. We have 7 days reprogram your mind so that your mind starts to think differently, because really our thoughts and what we think about is what creates our reality and what's happening in the external world. So getting a control over your belief systems, because what you believe will therefore be manifested in your external. So you want to understand your belief systems, and that 7 days reprogram your mind allows you to put new beliefs into your system that's going to create better results in the things that really matter in your life. So that's what we're excited about. Yeah. We're excited about the Members Hub. It's an easy way for people to have access to us and our trainings. And we're going to be adding on there every month. We'll add new content onto our hub.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very neat. So how can our listeners get in touch with you, Mahima, and find out about that and the other things that you have?
Okay. So they can go to this Members Hub thing can be directly accessed at www.themahimamindset.com/members-hub/sign up. And the sign up has a dash inside it. So it's a bit complicated, but I'll repeat it one more time. And then I'll also give an email address where they can just, ask us questions about it. Yeah. So it's www.themahimamindset, MAHIMA for Mahima, themahimamindset.com/members with an S at the end, members, -hub/sign-up. So that's the link directly to be able to become a member on our Members Hub. And if that doesn't work for any reason, because it's too complicated and too long, they can also just send us an email at superstarservice@themahimamindset.com. superstarservice@themahimamindset.com. And we're very happy to set them up with the link to get onto the Members Hub. And that's really, and you can also check out our website, which is just themahimamindset.com. And
very good.
That's a way to get to us as well.
Awesome. Mahima, this has been really wonderful. Thanks so much for being on the show today. I've been speaking with Mahima, Europe's #1 self-mastery mentor, international best-selling author, and award-winning speaker and trainer. You can find out more about Mahima and connect with her at themahimamindset.com. Mahima, it's been great. It's good to know you. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure talking to you, Ralph. You're amazing, and what a joy it has been for my day today. Thank you. Great way to end the day with the sun setting and your beautiful voice and reaching to all these wonderful people. Thank you so much.
You've been listening to Rebelpreneur Radio with Ralph Brogden. Download the show notes and much more at ralphbrogden.com.